Hi everybody, I'm back and I hope you guys are doing well, doing great. Happy spring, happy April. And yeah, welcome back. And so I personally draw every day. Hi, I'm BMJ Art Shop and I draw things in my multiverse. So I drew Meg Griffin, who is a hot topic in certain circles. And I drew her just one day, and the amount of conversations that came out of it was so interesting. First of all, I'm glad you guys like how I drew her in the original painting. But then the plan was to draw her again, but in the multiverse hot girl Meg look that they had back in season 8. Where she was still the hot one, but for some reason she was still the ugly one. Yeah. I wanted to draw her in my style. So, but like, this is a draw with me. I want you guys to doodle with me. And feel free to draw Meg in your own style, or any other Family Guy character. So this is just me doing the first sketches because I knew I wanted to draw her as both a skinny girl and her regular size. And I wanted to have both of them in that same outfit. And I knew in my mind, Meg Griffin looks exactly like Lois except for with 50 pounds on her. Maybe 50 pounds. So I wanted to just draw her like how I've always envisioned, but also with this outfit. So as you can see, I'm just doing the sketches, doing the poses. I really wanted a back pose as well, but however, there was a problem. This was my first drawing of the day. I didn't warm up. I didn't do any figures. I didn't draw hands. I didn't draw anything. I just straight up drew this, and I was happy about it at first until later on. So here's the original Meg drawing. I didn't have it already, pre-recorded, but here's what it looked like in Procreate on their time lapse. And this is just how I've always imagined Meg, as well as Tina. But I wanted to draw her in this hot girl summer futuristic outfit. And I wanted to start out with a sketch, and I don't tend to do clean sketches really. I just draw and then I erase the parts that I want to refine with more detail before I start coloring. And so I'm trying to get it as clean as possible for me before I just start layering with a gray outline with the lasso tool and then coloring on top like you see here. And I just skipped ahead, but what I tend to do is pick a hard light layer, and then after that I pick yellows and oranges for the highlight and just use an airbrush above and do the same thing as an airbrush down below. And it's still in hard light mode, but sometimes I do tend to use it in a multiply layer. And then I just start on the coloring. To me, it adds a little bit of saturation that I tend to like starting off with. But that's just my personal preference. So now I'm just filling it in, shading. Sometimes with this one, I personally didn't know which way to start the painting, so I started with her body first before her face, because I technically didn't want to get like lost in the details. Like if I start on the face, then I'm just going to be focused on the face for a while. So I like to now focus on other parts of the body first before I get to the fun part. So now I'm getting to the fun part, which is where I just start airbrushing with pinks and browns before I go back in with my favorite flat brush and go into the details with the lasso tool. I tend to use the lasso tool a lot, and I use it for eyelashes. I use it for cheek lines. I feel like that's the best way I can get a sharp line as well as a nice gradient for the cheek for a smile line, and for eyebrows, because I tend to accidentally draw eyebrows as sisters instead of twins. So I feel like the best way for me to get a nice eyebrow is using the lasso tool. I also tend to use it to clean up extra lines from the underlayer, as well as to use it to put in sharp highlights, as well as quick fill-ins. And this is why I like to start on the body first now, because as you can see, I'm so focused on trying to make her such a pretty girl that I have been on the face for so long. So now I'm focusing on the hair and glasses, because I have pulled up a Meg reference, and I did use a copy and paste once I got the first circle down, just to save time, and it was not matching. But now I'm adding the highlights as well as a lens glare to the glasses. I believe I got this from like an early Ross Strauss painting, where I think he was maybe drawing May from Overwatch, where he mentioned that technique, and I've used it ever since. Now I'm just cleaning up the face, smudging out some of the extra lines that I don't particularly like on spots that I think need to stand out most. And now I've moved on to the other figure, and I'm just adding details. But at this point, if I remember correctly, I wasn't really liking the sketch anymore, and I was trying to touch up by adding line work onto it, fixing the pose. I'm focusing on the rib cage to like make it, stand out more. But I don't remember it really working for me. Like, I like how it looked, but to me, the painting started to look really stiff even before I added the line work. So I decided to stop working on it, and then I went back to working on her face, because that's where I felt most comfortable with. So basically, I just do the same thing that I did on the other face on this one, except I just made her face a little bit slimmer. And I tried to keep the lighting and the colors in the same area and same palette. And that's really all that I did. But now I realized that her hair was flared out more in the reference photos, so I'm touching that up. But at the same time, I am trying to fix up her pose and going back and forth because I'm like, I don't really want to deal with this. And I'm like, oh, I got her arm up, and even though I like that at first, it's not really coming together. So I'm avoiding my problems by going back to her face. So now I have decided to just change the entire pose altogether once I got to a more comfortable location and started just screen recording. So this is where I decided to change all the poses. I was at first fixing up her arm, and then I was like, oh, nope, we're getting rid of this altogether. And I just lowered the opacity and had another layer on top. And there was another pose that I did before, but I decided more so on this one. A more exaggerated pose of her kind of like leaning back and holding her hip and being sassy. That's kind of what I was thinking of when I wanted something different than the first one, something that had a little bit more fluidity. And then after that, I put the opacity back up on the bottom layer and I erased it. And then I just started coloring on top after merging all the layers. And I'm just, putting in the shadow. And then now I'm adding in a lighter part of her skin tone and erasing parts that, didn't quite fit. And retouching up her torso. At this point in the painting, I started realizing that her head was just a little bit small, so I bumped it up and repainted over everything. I started re-adding lines for me personally to see better what needed to be fixed. So like I just re-added her collarbone of what that would look like, so that when I started shading, I just can go over that. So at this point, I started to feel like the second pose was also a little stiff, and because the other one was so, looked like it was in motion. So I just did the same technique. However, I realized on accident I made Meg a little bigger than she actually is, which even though she's cute, that's not the size that I wanted to go for. So I did start erasing the lines and the coloring, and then went back into the painting. However, I also didn't know whether I wanted to make her in short shorts or if I wanted to keep the skirt that she's in. So that's why you see her with skirts with little tufts of jean fabric out. I was very much channeling a Bratz doll look when I was drawing this, with the fur boots and everything. So now I'm just touching it up, and technically I'm kind of rushing here because this was my post for the day over on Instagram. So I didn't really care if it was finished or not. I just wanted it to look good before I posted it. Because my thing is that not all pictures have to be finished on Instagram for you to post on Instagram. They don't have to look pretty. As long as you like them, that's all that really matters. Like, at the end of the day, regardless of the likes, like, and I appreciate everyone that likes, comments, follows, all of that. At the end of the day, if I personally don't like it, I'm not gonna post it. So even if it's not like the best looking, but like if I like some parts of it, I'm going to post it. There's some things that y'all will never see. Even though I worked on it that day, I would not be posting it because there's not something about it that I like. Or if I'm not motivated to finish something. Like right now, the Tiana and Naveen wedding picture, I am having a difficult time finishing that one. So it's not because I don't like, well, it's a part of it is that I don't like how it looks right now, but I've lost my motivation with that picture at this current moment in time. But I will go back to finish it eventually. The point is, fellow artists, is to post things that you like regardless. If you like them, your people will like it. You will have people in your circle that like what you do regardless. If it's original characters, fan art, whatever it is in your style, people will like it. People will come out of nowhere to see it. You just gotta remember to tag. But yeah, just have fun with it. I think that's the best way for people to be happy. I know that when I started this journey of reposting, that I have definitely felt less pressured. Like today I posted a picture of Reno 911. Is anybody gonna like that? I don't know. I avoid the likes and sometimes the comments, but I personally like that picture. I like that picture of Dangle and Rainisha Williams, and that's okay. It is what it is. I feel like we've gotten way off topic from Meg Griffin. Speaking of Meg, how do y'all feel about how they handled her on the show? I know most people agree with me on the fact that they treat her way too mean for her to be the most normal, even though she is weird and she got her own faults, but she is the best one in the entire family. But she's also the most entertaining outside of Stewie. But like, how do you guys feel about whether it was how they treated or how they viewed teenage girls, and that's how Meg should be treated, or if it was, them getting back at the original voice actress, or, what are y'all theories about why Meg is treated the way that she is? It's always been a fascinating topic among Family Guy. I was cleaning it up and smoothing out some of the coloring on her legs, on her stomach, and definitely the skirt. I started making it more of like what a skirt would look like, or try to add like motion to the skirt. And to be quite honest, like I really wanted to finish it, like polish it, but I ain't got time for that. I didn't want to do that. And sometimes I just like how messy a painting can look. Like a messy painting to me sometimes looks better than a fully polished one, but that's just me. And so I just wanted to clean up like certain things. Like I really just wanted to finish her hand and just other minor details, and then I was done. I hope you guys enjoyed my rambling and had a great time doodling with me. I hope you guys enjoy the picture and enjoy the video, and like and subscribe and all that other goodish that people be saying. Have a great day.